This right here is the difference in money that you'll make if you learn these languages. Hello guys, hope you're doing well on your coding adventure. I did a little project a couple weeks ago for my own portfolio, and I feel like it's a pretty good simple project that you can add more flares to on your own. I will link the data source in the description. After I got the dataset, I turned it into a CSV and brought it into Jupyter Notebook. If you don't know how to make a Jupyter Notebook, I'll also link to that in the description. I'm just going to go through the blocks of code, so if you would like to follow along or just want to understand it, here we go. So in our first block of code, we have all our import statements and we have the CSV with the data in it. Obviously, we have to import pandas so we can use the data frames. And then I usually use matplotlib and numpy, but for this one, I wanted to try out seaborne as it's new to me as well. So then we locate our CSV and we pd.read, so pandas read it in and store it as job.df. In the next block of code, we want to make sure that these jobs are only data analyst jobs. So we search the job title column and check if that string contains data, and then also check if that string contains analyst and store that in the job.df. In the next block of code, I just wanted to count how many we were actually working with now. So we did a dot shape in the first column and found that there are 2,207. Then as we go to the next block of code, I wanted to create separate columns for all the jobs that contain these specific words. So we're going to look through the job description column. Then we check if that string contains those words. So dot string contains SQL, dot string contains Python, etc. Down here, we can see that the machine learning column, you can do an or statement and check if it contains this or this, and then store it all in the same column. Next, I was trying to figure out how to take the average of the salary estimate column. Now this column is a string, so we want to take the two numbers that are in that and then average them. So I turned that column into a list, but I actually never ended up using that. So the next block of code is how we're going to get those numbers into their own list. In this, we look through that salary estimate column and we find all the numbers by doing regex. We use the /d+ to find all the digits in that. We are then going to explode these, which means we're going to take each element and basically turn it into its own list so that we can work with them individually. We now have two numbers, the low of the salary estimate and the high of the salary estimate. These are still in the string type, so we want to take it as type int. So now we have two numbers, and of those numbers, we're going to take the mean. We then take all of that and plug it into its own column, salary estimate mean. Now I wanted to check the data frame to make sure that that column was populated. In this next block of code, we want to break each language down into its true and false so that we can create the table that you saw in the start. We do this using the .lock or locate function built into pandas. We search the data frame for where each language is equal to true and false in its specific column. So in the first one, you can see we use job.df and where that is equal to true and false, and then we take the mean of each of those. And we do this for every language. Then I just wanted to see those values, so I printed each one of them. And now I wanted to make a data frame with those values. We create these values by taking the values that we just took from the jobs.df. Now you can see that the values we just created are printed, and then here is our data frame. This is the language, the average salary, if it does and does not contain that language in the job description. And then finally, this is the output that we have. As you can see, when the job description contained Python, the average salary was a little bit higher. Although this is not true for all of these, and there might be different reasons for this. I thought this was an interesting question to look into. However, the data source that we're taking from has a lot more information, such as location and company, that we can use to find other conclusions. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. And if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that would be amazing.